Welcome to Hawthorn Den, where you join us for the last game in this season in the RBS Championship, League B, which sees 6th place Lasswade take on 5th place Hawick YM. A win for either team today secures a Today's game also brings the curtain down on the playing careers of 3 players. Lasswade see the retirement of their captain Gavin Brown and fellow back row colleague Richard Borthwick, 2 real stalwarts of the team who will be sadly missed, no doubt. For Hawick YM, it sees Billy Lilly bring his time with them to an end after a remarkable 17 years at the coalface. Lasswade coach Dave Coburn also takes charge of the team today for the last time after 5 remarkable seasons, which has seen the club promoted through 3 leagues in those 5 seasons, with 2 back-to-back Shield titles at Murrayfield along the way. Not a bad CV, and without question a very hard act for any coach to follow in Kobe's footsteps. We interviewed Lasswade's honorary president George Anderson earlier this week, who's been involved at the club for some 70 years. And he was no doubt that this last few seasons have been his most enjoyable ones, and a very exciting time to be involved at Lasswade. Well, let's hope this amazing journey doesn't end here, and without question this Lasswade team will want to do their utmost to send their teammates off on a high today with a bonus point win over Hawick YM. Taking charge today is 56-year-old Tom McNichol, a former scrum half for Waysiders and West of Scotland. And a former Bobby and now security consultant. You could be forgiven for thinking he was actually hand-picked for the job today, which will undoubtedly be a highly charged encounter between these two teams. A Hawick forwards rucking out their own 22, ball goes to ground. But I think he's accusing the Hawick forwards of sealing the ball off. Dale Robertson takes that quickly and goes. And he's upended and brought to ground. Blackwood feeds it out to Hennessy. Hennessy to Elliott, who cuts back in, goes to ground, gives the forwards another target. And it's Blackwood again, spinning the ball out. That's taken bin by Cook. A couple of wee side steps there. Ball goes to ground. Blackwood's wanting it out though. Hennessy, oh, lovely cut. Mark Wilson comes in there. Dale Robertson, the very man who started the move off, has got the ball. He's going to go up to the try line and he's made it across with 3 or 4 Hawick boys on his back. 10 yards, a good distance for him there, and it was no problem at all. And Tom McNichol's no doubt at all either. That's a 5-pointer. Lasswade first out the blocks against Hawick, also important in a game that's going to be as tight as this one. And Dale will be quite pleased with that. I think that's his first try after getting married, as a married man. And Gavin Brown asking for the kicking tee. In his last game today, he'll be looking to add to his personal points haul of 500 points that he's accrued over the last 5 seasons with Lasswade. Should be a routine conversion from here to the right hand side of the post. We'll be taking nothing for chance today though. Every point counts in this game. And he strikes that cannily and that pops over. So Lasswade first out the blocks, 7 points to 0 with Hawick YM. Lasswade backs penalised there just for being offside. And Gregor Welsh gets a chance to get Hawick YM on the scoreboard. Penalty kick just between the 10 and 22 metre in Lasswade. The wind's blowing down the hill, so it's not going to be an easy one. He's going to have to hit this well. He doesn't want to get underneath it because it'll land halfway between the ball where it is just now in the post. But he's given that a good old lick, and you can see the fade with the wind, but he's done a pretty good job of keeping it straight. So that's now Lasswade 7, Hawick YM 3. And Tom McNichol's blown up for a penalty against Lasswade. Dale Robertson coming round the side of the ruck and taking the man out with the ball when the ball was still within the ruck inside the back foot. And Gregor Welsh gets a chance to add another 3 points to the board for Hawick YM. We're playing catch up at the moment. And Bruce Campbell, the captain, was saying more of the same, please, Gregor. And the kick's pretty much where the last one was, a wee bit closer. Not ideal kicking conditions this, but as long as he hits it straight, he should be alright. We tap dance with the feet, Peter Dodge style. When he's pulled it to the right of the post, so it wasn't a bad effort. And unfortunately, an opportunity goes begging for Hawick YM, and it's still Lasswade 7, Hawick YM 3. Ball comes up to Ryan Hogg, and Graham Kellington can't hold on to the pass. Oh, and in doing so, he also finds himself on the wrong side of the ball when Lasswade are coming in to try and play it. So Tom McNichol blows up, and it's a penalty to Lasswade, taken quickly by Hennessy. And Hawick YM's not back 10. And there's a wee bit of back chat, I think, which might have cost Hawick a few yards. So Lasswade calls upon the services of Bernie with his bazooka boot. It's a good 40 yards here, but he's got the wind behind him. And with Gav Brown off the pitch, he's a very able debutant. Can step up to that role, no problem at all. He's well within his distance. So Bernie Hennessy steadies himself. 40-yard penalty kick. Oh, he's given it a fair old thump as usual, and he's driven that beautifully between the sticks, and that takes the score to Lasswade 10, Hawick YM 3. Lasswade's line out just inside the 10-metre line. Dylan Turnbull on Ryan Hogg steals it. When he evades the tackle of Jamie Blackwood, he steps inside Mark Wilson. And I think he's going to go all the way, and he does. He gets across the line. That's Hawick scoring their first try of the afternoon through Ryan Hogg. That was a fantastic individual effort from just inside Lasswade's 10-metre line all the way and escaped 2 tackles. And it's now Hawick 8, Lasswade 10. And it's down to Gregor Welsh to add the extras. And so far he's got 1 from 2 this afternoon. He'll be looking to get this one over as well and help Hawick on their way. Win behind him. Oh, he curls that beautifully just right round the inside of the right hand post. And that's now taking the score up to Lasswade 10, Hawick YM 10. Walk is out to Greg Anderson. He weaves inside Blackwood. He's tackled though by Clark and he goes to ground. Billy Lilly's at hand. Bruce Campbell picks the ball up. He's tackled. Ball goes to ground but he pops it up. Lovely. Well taken by Thompson. He drives on, goes to ground. The ball spins out, and it's Gregor Welsh at short distance who goes over and gets his first try of the afternoon and puts Hawick potentially in the lead by 15 points to 10. Welsh, can he convert his own conversion? Yes, he does. It's not a problem to him. And 7 points at the hand of Gregor Welsh. Now takes the score up to Hawick 17, Lasswade 10. Hawick in possession on Lasswade's 10-metre line, but they've been stolen. It's been turned over by Lasswade, and they spin the ball out wide. All the way to Mark Wilson, to Russell Gladstone. He runs round the outside of Stephen Hill and doesn't look like he's going to be able to lay his hands on him. He's put the afterburners on and nobody's going to catch him. He's actually probably going to get as close to the post as he possibly can. That's a great individual effort. Fantastic turnover try from Lasswade there, and that puts him back in the reckoning again. That puts him back at 17 points to 15 in Hawick YM's favour at the moment. And the kick from Gavin Brown. Oh, it's off the post. That was vital. That was vital to keep them in touch with Hawick YM. So the score still 17 to Hawick and 15 to Lasswade. Gregor Welsh with an opportunity to extend the lead to 20 points to 15 with a penalty kick just on Lasswade's 10-metre line. It's not out with his distance. It should be not a problem for him really. He's got a win behind him. It's on the best side of the pitch for him too. He's a left footer. Steadies himself. A wee Peter Dodge shuffle. He gives it a good scalp, but he's pulled it to the right hand side of the post. And that's a let off for Lasswade. So the score stays at 17-15. Hennessy restarts. Nice high ball there, but it goes to ground. Billy Lilly missed it. And Willie Blacklock's picked it up. Hands off 1, hands off 2. Dylan Turnbull misses a tackle, and he's rused about that. You can see he's upset. And so is Graham Cook. And Willie Blacklock crosses the line and extends Hawick's lead by another 5 points. Gregor Welsh with a kick. And that's not a problem. And that takes the score up to Hawick 22, Lasswade 15. So they're starting to strip away now. And Tom McNichol calls time on the game. He's seen enough. And Hawick YM run out victors on this game, 24 points to 15, and claim the 5th spot at the end of the season. Today's game draws the season to a close. Lasswade finishing up in the bottom half of the table. Wasn't quite the fairy tale ending for Richard Borthwick, Gavin Brown or Dave Coburn, but you can't always have it your way. So join us next season, where Lasswade will kick off their first game in August. And from the LRTV team, it's goodbye from us and see you next year.